unnecessary searches, and therefore tax it. Then we have the filter parameter. This isn't actually the safe search parameter. This is the filter that actually removes near duplicate content. So if we find the same search on two different hosts within a domain, Google will actually remove that from the search results. So we can specify that we want those duplicate contents included as part of our search. Okay, to continue on with the Google Search SOAP SOAP search message. We then have the restricts parameter. Now, what this does is we'll restrict our search results to specific things, such as the US government, which is specified by Uncle Sam, Linux, which is specified by Linux, FreeBSD, which is specified by BSD, and the various country codes, such as US, FR for France, AU for Australia, that kind of thing. We then can specify the safe search. So if we want to incorporate safe search as part of our search, which we don't obviously do in the download index cache tool, because we want to pull all the content that comes through the site, no matter how offensive it is. And then we have the language restrict. So that will essentially restrict language to restrict the search results to pages that are created in specific languages. So if we didn't want to just search for English, search for French or that kind of thing, we can restrict our page results returns to that. Finally, we have two deprecated parameters for input encoding and output encoding. Google did originally support encoding in multiple Unicode formats. They've now deprecated that, and it only supports UTF-8 at the moment. So you can essentially, when you pass your SOAP message, put anything in there. So some people put nothing, some people put UTF-8, and I've seen some scripts still with Latin 1 and that kind of thing specified. So when we get our response from passing the Do Google Search SOAP message, what we get, and this is a data dumper of the within Perl of the actual SOAP message as it's returned. We get the search time, so that's the time that Google actually spent to generate the results. We get the end index, which is the last result that we've returned. Now, if you flick that back over to the the SOAP message that we sent, that's actually 9. In the end index, it actually adds them. It actually adds the +1. We then get any search comments which are specifically related to if Google removed any stop words. Document filtering, if document filtering was applied as part of the SOAP message that we sent to Google. And then we get the search tips. So essentially that's tips that Google, if you're going to repeat the search, what they've provided as a recommendation. We then get the estimated total results count. Now for this, it's obviously vastly exceeded the 1,000 search queries that we can run per day and search within. So obviously the tool itself is going to fail. So even if we wanted to go past that 1,000, we can't, just by the restrictions placed on passing the SOAP message to Google. Okay, we then have the results elements, so which are essentially as each of the 10 or each of the number of results that come through, generally the 10. This is how they're all specified. So the related information present means essentially we can use the related search operator to go through the to run against the search result, and we can then get the related searches from there. If the host name is if we provided the filtering option, and if it's locked on, that will actually specify the host name with the duplicate results. Okay, and then within our result element, we get the URL of the actual search itself. In this case, if you actually see it, I was actually doing this is for the TCP input text products, because you can see the 8080 as a TCP port. The snippet is the actual 2 to 3 line snippet we get with the Google search results. We then get how Google has classified it within a directory. So we get its viewable name as well as if it's any encoding. And then finally we have the summary of the results. So if it's within the directory, what the summary of that actual directory category is. We then have the size of the cache as it's stored within Google. And then finally we have the HTML title as well as the directory title within the actual Google directories itself. And then from there, every other result element is specified, as you can see by the eclipses here, just under the bless statement there. So when we actually run the tool, this is what it looks like. So this is only just the proof of concept at the moment. So we get the standard blurb. We then get what our Google SOAP Search API key is, which in this case I've just hidden the Google SOAP Search API by using a SOAP proxy. We get the search results. So in this case, this is the results from 1 to 10. And we then get the, as it's downloaded each page, what the URL is and that kind of thing. So what I'll show you now is the actual tool itself running. Okay, so this is it running in real time. So you can see it's actually reasonably quick now. Obviously if we had more content than sort of running into like greater than 100K, so if we were downloading a meg at a time, that would be quite significant. Now the other thing that we're downloading too is when we're pulling the cache page through, we'll actually get URL references back to the actual original images. So when you go and inspect the individual content as it's downloaded, because it stores it in directories based on the URL and then cascading down from there based on the URI fields, we get the individual pages from there. So if we wanted to, for instance, see the page itself running, okay, we can use the verbose option. So essentially as it downloads each one, we can see that it's pulling stuff down through the cache from there. So that essentially gives us the knowledge that the product itself is actually working and actually pulling stuff through. Okay, if I just go back slightly. Oops. Sorry, wrong one. Okay, we can see it's still